The best bullpen in baseball collapses. We got walk-offs galore, plus a double dip in Washington. We're taking you all around Major League Baseball. This is MLB Game Night. Every game, every night.
When that final out is made, you know it's time for Locked On MLB Game Night. All the post-game reactions to every game across the league, every single night, with insights only the hosts at Locked On can provide. Prepare to experience game day reactions like never before. Only on Locked On MLB Game Night. Your team every day.
Hey there, baseball fans. Welcome in to MLB Game Night. I am J.D. Hafron, the host of Locked On Cardinals. Got my guy Jon Frisch from Locked On Angels. Both of us smiling today because our teams did okay. Coming up on today's show, some shocking walk-off wins all over the league, man. Some exciting stuff going on in Major League Baseball. We're going to start in Chi-Town, where the Cubs were hosting the Giants, and Giants are meeting the Cubs at Wrigley Field on what would have been Willie Mays' 94th birthday. I hate the fact, John, that there's talents like Willie Mays that were out there, and I never got to see him play. You see old school videos and stuff, but you never got to see him. Closest thing to Willie Mays, I guess, was kind of like Ken Griffey Jr. for me. Right.
You got to get out and see guys like Trout. You got to get out and see guys like Ohtani. Even if you're not a baseball fan, I brought a friend to an Angels game when Ohtani was still there, and I said, dude, you're going to tell your grandkids that you watched Ohtani pitch and hit in the same game.
Yeah, you saw something special, and you saw a special talent out there on the field. Well, this was a pretty close game for a while. Cubs are able to make a comeback late in this one. They played two in the bottom of the ninth inning on RBI singles by Justin Turner and Kyle Tucker. You can just see the dollar signs for Kyle Tucker continue to light up in his eyes. This sends it to extra innings, where the Giants would go absolutely berserk, John. This was wild stuff. They get RBIs. They score not one, not two, not three, not four, not five, not 6, 7, 8, 9 times, John. Nine times in the 11th inning, which is fitting considering I'm sure you're familiar with Ferris Bueller's Day Off, the movie.
Of course.
9 times. That was filmed in Chicago. The 9 runs are the most runs scored in an extra inning game in Wrigley Field history. Let's check in with Ben from Locked On Giants, who recapped this wild finish in Chicago.
Wow. I don't even know what to say. That was one of the crazier finishes to a game I've ever seen, and it was history for these two storied franchises. This is Ben Caspick with the Locked On Giants podcast. Giants put up 9 runs in the 11th inning. 9 runs in the 11th inning. It's the most in extra innings in Giants franchise history since they started keeping track in 1901. And it's the most runs in an extra inning in the history of Wrigley Field, which goes back to the 1910s. And this was a game that was looking like torture for the Giants and a brutal loss potentially, as Ryan Walker blew the save. Eric Miller did come in and give up the tying run, but Ryan Walker caused the traffic. Kyle Tucker tied it. You kind of have to tip your hat. Kyle Tucker is great. But Ryan Walker shut the door in the bottom of the 10th after the Giants couldn't score. Their automatic runner in the top of the 10th, and then 9 runs. Elliot Ramos, 2 doubles in the 11th inning. Just a historic inning and a great win. Justin Verlander gets denied again. That stings, but still a great team win for the Giants. Unbelievable. We'll break it down tomorrow on Locked On Giants, where it's your team every day.
Now, more times than not, John, the Cubs have been victorious this season. So normally we see our buddy Sam from Locked On Cubs smiling, talking about how great the Cubs are, feeling all cocky. Not so much in this one. What did he have to say about this kind of heartbreaking victory for the Cubs?
Chicago Cubs just don't lose conventional games. They just don't. Another wild game at Wrigley Field on Tuesday night. This one did not go the Cubs' way. I'm Sam Olber from the Locked On Cubs podcast. The Cubs hitting the bad luck all night, played some really sketchy defense, particularly John Birdie once again, but the offense found a way late, down 5-3 in the ninth to come back, tie the game. Wrigley was rocking. Kyle Tucker had a huge hit to tie the game. Porter Hodge with a scoreless 10th. And then in the bottom of the 10th, with a chance to win the game, Pete Crow Armstrong struck out. Dansby Swanson hit a rocket line drive. It was just one of those nights right at the third baseman. But really, the takeaway from tonight is that Ryan Presley is either has to go on the IL or the Cubs have to figure out something to do with him. It's not the fact that he has been bad. He just hasn't pitched in a really long time. And he came in the 10th inning, did not record an out, and allowed 7 earned runs, not getting any whiffs, hard hit balls all over the place, and just a total meltdown from him. And the Cubs, with Imanaga out and Steele out, like the Cubs are too good of a team to be running out a player that might not be healthy or whatever the case is. So they'll have to figure it out.
All right, so there's Sam from Locked On Cubs. The ERA for Ryan Presley, John, explodes from 2.08 to 7.62. That'll happen when you have a bad inning like that and you can't record it now, right?
Yeah, exactly. Hey, talking about bullpen ERA exploding. How about what happened in the Padres and Yankees game? It looked like a nice casual 3-2 game, and then the bullpen absolutely collapsed with a 3-2 lead in the 7th inning. The Yankees all over the Padres, right, JD?
Yeah, Yankees. This really helped me out absolutely when it came to the fantasy world, because I had Austin Wells on my squad.
There you go.
And he hasn't been all that great this year, but he had a big knock in that big inning for the Yankees. They scored 10 runs. Austin Wells with his first career grand slam to cap off the inning. We've got Brian from Locked On Yankees talking about this win for the Bronx Bombers.
10 runs in 1 inning. Did I have Austin Wells hitting a grand slam on my bingo card? Absolutely not. But if you did, good for you. I got to say, watching the Tuesday night final for the Yankees, it felt like a game they could potentially lose for sure. And they wind up scoring a ton of runs in the 7th inning, having just every single guy in the lineup contributing, including, like I said, that Austin Wells grand slam. And it felt a little satisfying as a Yankee fan who was never on the Wandy Peralta train to get to see Wandy Peralta hit like that in the 7th inning. Very, very, very satisfying win. The Yankees will have a rubber match against the Padres on Wednesday night, where Max Fried will go up against Dylan Cease, who struggled this year. But we'll see how the Yankees can go up against a guy with those kind of numbers. Lots to discuss on Locked On Yankees. It'll all be broken down after the rubber match on Wednesday night. The Yankees have had a big week so far. Let's see if they can win this series against San Diego. We'll discuss all of it on Locked On Yankees this week on all your podcasting platforms.
Now, the Padres normally walk with their chins held high, feeling pretty good about themselves. And Javi from Locked On Padres wants to let you know, don't freak out about this.
Holy dear guacamole, did that Padres-Yankees game get out of hand pretty quickly. Javier Reyes here of Locked On Padres, everybody, and my buddy Stitch. Padres lose the second game of this big series in New York, 12-3, which tells you it was a blowout bad game. No, it actually wasn't. Tatis giving them the lead in the top of the 7th with a huge RBI double, getting revenge for getting ejected, I guess, in game 1. So not revenge, but a big hit from him. And the Padres bullpen has been good all year, not in this one, giving up 10 runs in the bottom of the 7th inning, including an Austin Wells grand slam. Not freaking out, though, because heading into last night's game, or today's game, whenever you're seeing this, hello, by the way, they had the best bullpen ERA in baseball by a lot, about a 1.75 ERA heading into that game. And then second place was about a 2.5 from the New York Mets. So that tells you they were really a run better than everybody else. At some point, they were going to have a moment like this, but it's okay. And Michael King, only 2 strikeouts in this one, but still had a decent start. Hopefully they can go out and win the rubber game of the series. But all in all, no reason to freak out.
We're going to head down south to Tampa Bay, where the Phillies were visiting the Rays. Phillies still chasing the Mets in the NL East, while the Rays, they're kind of hanging around in that AL East. They haven't disappeared quite yet, despite having to play their home games in the Yankee Spring Training Minor League Stadium this year. Let's check in with Connor from Locked On Phillies on what happened in this one as the Phillies able to take down the Rays 8-4.
The Phillies take down the Rays in Game 1 behind some offensive firepower. 8-4 the final. I'm Connor Thomas, your host of Locked On Phillies. What a night out of Kyle Schwarber and Nick Castellanos. The cleanup spot and the 5-hole were awesome for the Phillies tonight. They both go yard. They both had big hits outside of the home runs. It was great by them. And Alec Boehm, first home run of the year. Yeah, I know. It was a minor league park. Would have gotten out in 7 of the major league ballparks that are currently active. So it wasn't necessarily a cheapie. I'll tell you what wasn't a cheapie at all. Zach Wheeler's performance tonight. He was really, really efficient and went to work through a good amount of innings and strikeouts and did not seem fazed by anything. He did give up another home run, which is weird, because the home run has kind of been his kryptonite this year. He's given up one in all of his starts so far, but the Phillies find a victory and they can win their 4th straight series with a win tomorrow. We'll talk on the next episode of Locked On Phillies.
I know what you're wondering, John. Where did Connor get that shirt? That's what you're asking yourself right now.
I was actually thinking that, because I was like, is that a Serpientes from, the Diamondback City Connect? Is he wearing Diamondback stuff in his Phillies video?
Connor getting flashy over there after a big win over Tampa Bay. We had some walk-offs today, John. Reds and Braves. This one was a tight one the whole way. Chris Sale's 300th career start in the big leagues.
That's insane.
And after shutting out the Reds on Monday, Sale throws 6 2/3 innings of shutout ball. He had 10 Ks in this one, although he didn't factor into the decision, I don't believe, because things got a little tight at the end. Let's check in with Jake from Locked On Braves on the 2-1 victory for the Atlanta Braves.
Braves walk off the Cincinnati Reds 2-1 in extra innings on Tuesday night to take a 2-0 series lead. Jake Mastriani here from Locked On Braves, and Marcell Ozuna with the big walk-off hit after he come up a little limp in his last at-bat, hurting himself on a swing, almost hits a 2-run homer in that at-bat, but comes through in the 10th inning. Raisel Iglesias with a pristine top of the 10th inning to keep the Reds off the board and give the Braves a chance to walk it off. Before all of that, though, the big story in this game, Chris Sale hit back-to-back double-digit strikeout performances now. He was fantastic in this game. Offense, unfortunately, couldn't get much going for him once again, but they do find that spark late, and they get a walk-off win over the Cincinnati Reds. We'll be covering all of this over on the Postcast and Locked On Braves.
Now, the Reds, and this tends to happen a lot. At least I find it as somebody who covers the Cardinals. There's always like a revenge guy that plays on the other team that comes back to haunt them. And for the Reds, that was Stuart Fairchild tonight. He ends up scoring from first to send this game into extra innings before Marcell Ozuna got the walk-off. Let's hear a reaction from Jeff Carr from Locked On Reds and how there's too many almosts with this Cincinnati team.
The Cincinnati Reds are almost there. They're almost good. But they constantly find that one thing to lose a game. At least right now. What's up? This is Jeff Carr from the Locked On Reds podcast. And it's still kind of early, right? Like, it's not late enough in the season where you worry about the ultimate goal. But we're getting close to where almost winning a game turns into almost making the playoffs. And the Reds almost beat the Braves on Tuesday night. They end up losing 2-1 in 10 innings. There's so many little plays this season that the Reds are almost making, but because they don't, they lose. That's why they're under 500. That's why they're not in first place in the NL Central yet. Hopefully they can bridge almost very soon.
Look at Jeff throwing in the yet. I guess he's thinking the Cubs are going to collapse at some point, John.
I heard that. Yeah.
Well, we've got plenty more walk-off and wins to get to yet, including one team who did it for the 5th time already this season. That's coming up next on Locked On MLB Game Night. Today's show being brought to you by Wonderful Pistachios. Baseball season is here, and the best baseball snack is waiting for you. I am somebody, when I'm watching any sports, not just baseball, but any sports, I'm always eating something. I'm always snacking on something. And the perfect snack for me is Wonderful Pistachios for a number of different reasons. And you can grab some today at wonderfulpistachios.com. It's a snack that's both delicious and it's nutritious, filled with a good source of protein, one of the highest protein nuts you can get your hands on. Each 1 ounce serving has 6 grams of protein, giving you over 10% of your daily value. As somebody that works out, you're trying to build muscle, you're always trying to intake as much protein as humanly possible. And this is a great way to do it. Plus they're packed with fiber and better for you unsaturated fats to help keep you going all day. Maybe you pick up the no shells variety, which is my personal favorite because I'm lazy and I just want to grab them and throw them in. It's the perfect grab and go snack for busy days. And if you love cracking open every shell for that satisfying crunch, you can get those as well. The in-shell options are a classic favorite as well. So get snacking and get cracking with the snack that packs a protein punch. Visit wonderfulpistachios.com to learn more. Once again, thank you for joining us on Locked On MLB Game Night. I am J.D. Hafron. I got Jon Frisch with me, and we're making our way around the league. A lot of walk-offs today, John. We're going to head down to Miami, where the Dodgers were taking on the Marlins, and the Dodgers have scored 7+ runs in all 4 games against the Marlins so far this season. Could the Marlins keep the Dodgers from doing it again? Let's hear about this walk-off win. We'll start with Jeremiah from Locked On Marlins, who was pretty impressed with the start that the Fish got from Cal Quantrill.
Jesus Sanchez is the hero, and the Marlins have finally beat the Dodgers. What's up, guys? It's Jeremiah Geiger from Locked On Marlins. This was a back-and-forth game. Neither team had more than a 1-run lead, and Shohei Ohtani kept doing Shohei Ohtani things. He homered, Freddie Freeman homered, but a really good start by Cal Quantrill. 5 innings, struck out 6, only gave up 1 run. The Marlins didn't get burned by their starting pitching. It went to extras. Jesus Tinoco pitched a scoreless 9th and a scoreless 10th. He was huge. And in the 10th inning, Agustin Ramirez smashes a base hit through the right side. The bags are loaded. And with the infield, with 5 infielders in the game, instead of hitting into a double play, Sanchez goes right back up the middle to give the Marlins a 5-4 win. It was a great team win for the Marlins. They can go for the series win against the Dodgers. Imagine that, taking the series from these guys tomorrow.
You got to be happy for the Marlins, right, John?
I'm happy for Jeremiah, man. He needed that one for sure. Getting beat 7+ runs against your team every single time, and then for them to be able to take that. And this wasn't a repeat, by the way. I know Shohei and Freddie Freeman both homered in this one like they did last night, but hey, credit to the Marlins for being able to get that lead back and hang on until extra innings. Go Jeremiah, go Marlins. I love it.
We do have Vince from Locked On Dodgers to talk about the loser side of the LA Dodgers. Well, let's see what his excuses are for this one.
Mookie Betts on the bench and Teoscar Hernandez on the injured list. We knew the Dodgers might not be able to score too many runs in this game, and that's kind of what happened. This is Vince from Locked On Dodgers, and while Tony Gonsolin had a second strong outing in his return from the injured list, 5 innings, 2 runs, 8 strikeouts, Luis Garcia ultimately gave up 2 more runs, and the Dodgers lost in extra innings. Gonsolin is a positive. The rest of the bullpen, other than Garcia, was mostly a positive. But on offense, with Mookie Betts sitting and with Teoscar Hernandez on the injured list, we knew runs and hits might be hard to come by. And Shohei Ohtani, Freddie Freeman, and Will Smith did their job. They had 6 of the 8 hits and scored 3 of the 4 runs the Dodgers put up, but ultimately not enough when you don't get anything from your number 5 hitter and beyond. Ha-Seong Kim did have a base hit and did score a run, so I guess can't say completely nothing from 5 through 9, but he also got picked off. So not a great time. We're going to talk about all of it on Locked On Dodgers, wherever you get podcasts and on YouTube.
John, do you think the Dodgers are going to be able to sleep tonight, considering how terrible their team is now because of all of these injuries? I mean, just a big bag of suck in their lineup. You mean you still got this Ohtani guy? Yeah, we feel real sorry for you guys over in at Dodger Stadium.
I can hear all the fans hopping off the bandwagon right now. That's the rumble you feel all the way out there in Cincinnati, JD.
Yeah, start firing people. Let's trade some people. This Dodgers team it's awful. Obviously, we're just kidding because personally, I'm just jealous because you guys have so many great players in LA. How about another walk-off, John? White Sox and Royals. Royals have been red hot recently, facing a White Sox team that, let's be honest, frankly, just happy to have double-digit wins on the season at this point. But it was another exciting game because anything can happen in this game of baseball. Let's check in with Todd from Locked On White Sox and how the collapse happened at the end of this game to give the Royals a walk-off victory.
It was only a matter of time before the White Sox were going to White Sox their way to an embarrassing defeat. Also, this team's lack of a closer is killing their chances of having a few more wins. Hello, I'm Todd Welter, host of Locked On White Sox, and the White Sox blow it in the ninth inning and lose to the Kansas City Royals 4-3 on a Bobby Witt Jr. walk-off hit. Cam Boozer failed to close out a 3-2 lead in the ninth, and it was in part to Chase Mydroth making an embarrassing error when he should have caught an easy pop-up, but instead the ball bounced off his head. Boozer eventually loaded the bases, and well, the White Sox still have one total save from their bullpen. And this speaks to the GM not being able to build a bullpen, because even bad teams can find a guy who can at least get 3 outs in the ninth. Fans of a certain age will remember Bobby Thigpen. And I'll have more on tomorrow's episode of Locked On White Sox.
If you didn't see the play that he's talking about where the ball went off the second baseman's head, it's hard not to laugh. And I know all of our teams have been there before where something ridiculous has happened to one of our guys. They made a really goofy error. But this one is like hilarious to watch when you're not a White Sox fan.
Exactly.
Hop off the guy's head and land, and then they can't throw the guy out at second base. The right fielder chucks it past the second baseman. Just the defense completely fell apart in this one, John.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm just happy it's not my Angels for once making plays off of their heads like that. And it's usually who it is. And
I've seen flashbacks of Jose Canseco with the Rangers where the ball bounces off his head. Like it was that hilarious where it hit. So that's going to be a tough one to come back from. But hey, that's why they play more games. Astros and Brewers. 4-3 Brewers win in this one. Brewers trying to play catch up with the Cubs in the NL Central, while Houston is now experiencing life without their big bopper, Yordan Alvarez, who went on the IL with that hand ailment. Chuck Freeman from Locked On Brewers has more on this game and the start they got from Chad Patrick.
There's that man again. Chad Patrick leads the Brewers to another win, their third in a row, and the Brewers get the job done against the Astros tonight behind Patrick. How you doing again, everybody? Chuck Freeman. Instant reaction here on Locked On Brewers. Patrick, his longest start as a Brewer, each and every one of his starts, he goes out there unexpectedly. This guy was not even in the rotation to start the season. Pitches into the seventh inning. Gave him a 3-run home run his last pitch. That broke up the shutout. Maybe they kept him in a batter too long. Still, the bullpen comes in, gets the job done. Patrick allows just 4 hits in his outing, and really has been just such a benefit coming in and making a start on an injury-depleted rotation. And Patrick, once again, leads the Brewers to a victory here tonight, and a chance for a sweep of the Astros coming up tomorrow afternoon. See you a little bit later on tonight on the next edition of Locked On Brewers. Please subscribe.
Brewers, one of those teams that nobody really talks about. They just kind of get looked over because they're in Milwaukee, yet they end up finding ways to win again and again, don't they, John?
And they end up in the playoffs almost every year, too. That's the other part of it, is that nobody's paying attention to them, and all of a sudden, there they are again. So, it hasn't been bad for the Brewers, but, they just haven't gotten very deep into the playoffs. But, hey, if you're making it almost every year, that's not a bad thing at all.
Now, at least you got a chance. A couple of teams with some playoff aspirations this year. Mets are in Arizona to take on the Diamondbacks. Mets lead the NL East. Arizona treading water in the NL West. Zach Gallen had a good night tonight, didn't he, John?
Yeah, 7 innings, 1 run, 2 hits, and 6 Ks for his third win on the season. The first instance of going at least 7 innings and allowing 1 run or fewer since September 8th, 2023. Surprising stat there for Zach Gallen, but hey, still getting it done in this one. Lourdes Gurriel Jr., my gosh, I sat him, JD, in fantasy today. Why did I do that? 3 for 4 with his 6th home run of the year and 2 RBIs. For the Mets, David Peterson went 6 innings, 4 runs, 5 hits, 4 walks, and 6 Ks. You're putting on base runners, via the walk and letting them come around the score. That's always going to bite you. And then Lindor, Juan Soto, and Pete Alonso go a combined 0 for 8 with 4 walks between them. That's not going to get the job done if you're in New York as well.
Maybe that's the key to beat the Mets. Just don't let them swing the bat. Just walk them and let them get themselves out. Maybe that's how you do it. AL West battle tonight. We had the Mariners at the A's. It was another nail biter. They had a crazy game the previous night, and tonight it was a tight one once again. It came down to the wire. The A's Jeffrey Springs gives them 5 strong innings, but the bullpen could not hang on in this one. Tyler Ferguson, just 2/3 of an inning pitch, 3 runs, 2 hits, 1 walk. It's a second blown save of the season. The Mariners were able to score 3 runs in the 9th inning to win it. As somebody that goes up against these two, how does that make you feel, John, when you see these two guys just killing each other night in and night out?
You know what? I'll love it when they're in the middle of the AL West duking it out instead of at the top. So give them credit, man. I'm a Angels fan, diehard, but I am also a baseball fan who's willing to admit when good baseball is being played. And look, the Mariners got this one done without Kyle Raleigh in the starting lineup in this one. He gets a rare day off, and they still got it done 5-3. Go Mariners.
Yeah, Cal had a big hit in that inning that they ended up scoring those runs at the end of the third. So he did come in and be a part of the win. But, yeah, you know, when you rest one of your big guns and you're still able to pull off a win, more power to you. All right, can Paul Skeens finally beat my Cardinals? That question will be answered, plus a doubleheader in Washington coming up on Locked On MLB Game Night.
Locked On MLB Game Night is presented by our friends at Supply House. Get the supplies you need from the site that's made for the skilled trades at Supply House. Whether you're into plumbing, HVAC, electrical work, Supply House is the reliable way to order products online. They have an easy-to-use website packed with helpful resources and the latest product info to help you get the job done right. With a complete inventory of over 200,000 parts from 400-plus top brands, you'll find exactly what you need delivered fast from coast to coast. And if you need help with an order, Supply House offers expert support and industry-leading service, so you'll talk to a real person, no AI, nobody who's never done this before. They've had their hands dirty, the helpful people over at Supply House. And for trade pros looking for an extra edge, their free Trade Master program offers exclusive perks like a dedicated phone line, free shipping, and discounts on every order. Thousands of skilled professionals are already taking advantage, and now it's your turn. Join the Trade Master program today at supplyhouse.com/TM and start ordering plumbing, HVAC, and electrical supplies with just a few clicks. And as an added bonus, use the promo code SH5 for 5% off your first order. That's all happening at supplyhouse.com.
J.D. Hafron and Jon Frisch with you as we continue to take you around the league. Our MLB Game Night flight is now heading to St. Louis, John, where the Pirates were in town and taking on my Cardinals. Paul Skeens trying to snap the Pirates' 5-game slide against a team that he still has yet to beat in the St. Louis Cardinals. He was 0-3 against them coming into this game and had already lost to the Cardinals earlier this year back in April. And once again, the St. Louis Cardinals are able to defeat Paul Skeens. It was a pitcher's duel. If you like pitcher's duels, this was the game for you because Skeens, he was great. It's not that he pitched bad. Matthew Liberatore on the other side for the Cardinals, he was as good, if not better. 7 innings, 1 run, 3 hits, just 8 strikeouts for Liberatore. He was fantastic. Alec Burleson gets the 2-run double to left field in the 6th inning to give the Cardinals the 2-1 lead against Skeens. Burley owns Paul Skeens. He's now got 6 hits off him in his career.
That's the key right
6
there.
for 15. He's batting .400 against Paul Skeens. We have no idea why or how, but it is what it is. Let's check in with Gary from Locked On Pirates on the state of things in Pittsburgh during this rough patch they're going through.
Pirates dropped their 6th straight, 9 out of 10. Assured that they're losing the series in St. Louis. And they've lost their 2nd straight start of Paul Skeens. One of the formulas they had to have. Hi, I'm Gary from Locked On Pirates. Yes, I'm starting to sound like a broken record, but the Pirates just did not have an offensive answer tonight. Not to take anything away from Matthew Liberatore. He was wonderful. He really was. He outdueled Paul Skeens, if that's the way you want to look at it. But right now, you'd be hard-pressed to find a pitcher that isn't going to outduel Paul Skeens. All he has to do is face the Pirates. This offense just has no answers. Derek Shelton has no answers. We're going to be talking about this a little bit tomorrow, but we're going to continue our series of things this team needs to and can do to maybe make things a little bit better.
All right, so the Cardinals looking for a sweep of the Pittsburgh Pirates. They've been playing some good ball lately. Knocked out 2 wins against the Mets on Sunday in that doubleheader. They've won 2 in a row here, so 4 in a row. They're trying to get to that 500 mark while the Pirates continue to sink. They are now 1-9 in their last 10. Moving on to the doubleheader that happened today. It feels like we have one at least somewhere every single day because of the weather that's been going around the country. Guardians at Nationals, game one. The Nationals were able to take this one by a score of 10-9 in game two. The Guardians score 9 runs again, but the Nationals unable to put a lot of runs on the board. They end up only putting up 1. So Nationals get the first one. Guardians get the second one. We got Justin from Locked On Guardians talking about the weird doubleheader antics.
Name a pair stranger than the Cleveland Guardians in doubleheaders. You can't. This is Justin Latta from Locked On Guardians. The Guardians came into this season 0-15 in their doubleheaders over the last 2 seasons. Doubleheaders not good for the Cleveland Guardians. They finally won one a week ago against the Boston Red Sox. This time, they win one against the Washington Nationals. They split one in the weirdest way possible. In game one, they score 9 runs. They played 6 runs in the 7th inning after having 5 hits all game going into that inning. You would think that would be enough for the Guardians bullpen, but Cade Smith, the best reliever on the team, even better than Manuel Clase, gets touched up. The Guardians lose game one because of the bullpen, of all things, and not Emmanuel Clase. But game two, it was Carlos Santana and the offense coming in late to pick that one up. This is the first time in 8 games the Guardians finally had a game decided by more than 1 or 2 runs. They spread that one out in game two. They get their second doubleheader win, and they conserve a little bit of the bullpen, especially Emmanuel Clase, for the finale on Wednesday, and they have a chance to win that series as well. Tune into Locked On Guardians for more analysis on Wednesday.
Continue to make our way around the league. Rangers were at the Red Sox tonight, and 6-1, Rangers take this one. Rangers fired their offensive coordinator, and Brett Boone trying to turn that offense around. 16 hits from Rangers hitters, including a 2-for-3 night from Jock Peterson, who needed some hits badly. Orioles and Twins. The Twins are all over Baltimore in this one. Twins are looking for double-digit wins at home, while the Orioles were trying to just kind of turn around this nightmare start of the season. And the Twins were able to get some big names back in their lineup, right, John?
Yeah, they got Royce Lewis back in this one, but in his return, I should say, 0-for-4. So it really came down to the fact that Pablo Lopez and the bullpen were the ones to carry this team to the end. 17 strikeouts from the Orioles over this game. Of course, they had help from Carlos Correa, 3-for-4 with a home run, 458 feet, JD, second deck in left center, 3 RBIs. Byron Buxton, 2-for-4 with a home run of his own and 4 RBIs as well. So get that combination of Royce Lewis, Correa, and Byron Buxton going together. You're going to have some special stuff going on in Minnesota.
Yeah. And it never hurts to face Baltimore's pitching staff. League high 53 home runs given up already this year. So that's a lot. All right. Blue Jays at your Angels. What happened in this one, John? Lay it on us.
Angels have lost 7 in a row, and the Blue Jays are at 500 no longer. And they're just only a few games behind the Yankees and Red Sox in the AL East. But look, if you're not paying attention to what Tyler Anderson's been doing to start this season, he over his last 5 starts, he's pitched to a 2.08 ERA. This is the first time, JD, the Angels have scored more than 5 runs in a game since April 10th, and they poured it on in this one. Lots of small ball happening to get some runs, and then Yoan Moncada in his first game back coming off the IL, it's a 3-run homer just to extend the lead that the Angels had at that point, 7-3. Joe Adell hits a solo shot to make it 8-3. Call it a garbage time home run if you want to, but the fact is that the way that this bullpen has been lately, I'll take all the runs the Angels can get. So the Angels go over the Blue Jays at home 8-3.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I don't care when my dudes hit a home run. Just keep hitting them. That's what we want to see, guys. All right. Final game of the night, Tigers and Rockies actually got postponed due to weather. Tuesday's game is going to be made up on Thursday in a doubleheader. So obviously
another one.
Another one. They just keep coming, John. They just won't stop. 2 for you, 2 for everybody, right? Well, thank you guys for joining us for this episode of MLB Game Night. We do hope that you'll come back and visit us next time on MLB Game Night. Every game, every night.